Call of Cthulhu, Cowboy Bebop, and a bunch of announcements from this year's Essen Games Fair. Join me, detectives, for this week's Cult of the News. Call of Cthulhu, one of the world's most beloved and popular role-playing games, is getting a board game. And there's already a Call of Cthulhu card game which was put out in 2008 by Fantasy Flight. But this board game, Call of Cthulhu Terror Paths, is being launched by Peterson Games, who have experience in the genre already with their immensely popular Cthulhu Wars. Terror Paths is set to be a cooperative experience for 1 to 6 players who take on the role of investigators, working as a team to stop unspeakable horror from destroying the world. That old chestnut. All the investigators can move and take action simultaneously as they puzzle out arcane mysteries, gain insight, and find the tools they need to stave off the menace. And that's menace with a capital M and 2 T's and a Y, like a series of nondescript vowels. It's a Cthulhu game. And we're told that as the game begins, you don't know how to defeat your opposition, or even what the opposition consists of. My guess, tentacles. But it's all for you to discover on the way. The game comes with 2 maps, each claiming wildly different scenarios, and while you can play one-off sessions, you can also play the game as a campaign, and Peterson Games have told us to keep an eye out as to what that campaign will include. But for now, the main page on Peterson Games' website just says Coming 2022. But Coming Now is the sponsor of this week's episode.
This episode is made possible in part by The Spy Who Loved Me. I mean, the expansion for the legendary James Bond deck building game, The Spy Who Loved Me. Not an actual spy enamored with me, personally, no. So that's preposterous. Regardless, in this expansion, players take on the role of international super spy James Bond. Following the plot of the classic film, The Spy Who Loved Me, players embark on an epic mission encountering perilous traps, utilizing incredible gadgets, facing off against the ruthless Karl Stromberg and his various Spectre agents, and locking horns with one of his greatest foes of all time, Jeremiah J. Jawsingsworth, also known as Jaws. Oh, get this, you'll also tangle with your Russian secret agent counterpart, Anya Amasova, the aforementioned spy of amorous intent. This set's 120 cards feature images from the Bond movie and will be found at your local friendly game store and by following the link in this video's description to Upper Deck's online store at upperdeckstore.com.
Asmodee Digital has joined forces with Humble Bundle to help support the ongoing efforts to overcome breast cancer by bundling up a heap of digital tabletop games and offering a massive discount on them, of which a portion of the profits goes to charity. At the time of writing this, 36,000 of these bundles have been sold and £43,000, $60,000, have been raised for the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. The digital collection includes editions of Game of Thrones, the board game, Scythe, Terraforming Mars, along with Ticket to Ride, Small World, Pandemic, Splendor, Love Letter, and a bunch of expansions. It's a great cause and a massive saving on what would cost £165, being available for as little as £9. So pop on over to Humble Bundle if you'd like to take part. But if that wasn't enough digital board games for you, then you might be interested in the 2021 Steam Digital Tabletop Fest happening at steampower.com over October 21st through to the 25th. This is a celebration of tabletop-inspired games on the digital platform Steam, and will feature hundreds of board game adjacent video game titles being on discount, which is what perked my interest. Plus, this year's event also places a special focus on role-playing games, including 3 days of streaming events hosted in partnership with Auroch Digital. Did I just go 3 days? 3 days. I'll definitely be taking a look for any board game deals, and if you want to as well, then I guess that means it's happening right now. Cowboy Bebop is getting a role-playing game coming to Kickstarter sometime next year. And look, I love Cowboy Bebop. It's one of the best TV shows of all time. It's great, as well as being one of the most popular animes of ever. In the game, players will be able to create and customize their very own bounty hunters and then take them off on missions around the solar system, collecting bounties or whatever else you want to do with your ragtag team of misfits and cigarette smoke. Your moral choices will affect the game, and so too will the multicoloured six-sided dice that you'll be rolling as you explore this expanded Bebop universe, where your past is set to come back and haunt you. This is all coming from Don't Panic Games and Mana Project Studios, and while totally separate, if the Avatar The Last Airbender RPG is anything to go off, it's going to be one to look out for fans of the show. For more intellectual properties come board games, we have the announcement of first the Resident Evil card game and then the Heroes of Might and Magic board game. During the night of July 24th, 1998, a series of unusual murders occur in Raccoon City, and all the bodies show signs of cannibalism in classic Resident Evil form. Also, somebody probably has a grappling hook and there's like 3 emblems to find so you can unlock a door or something. Contact with Team Bravo is lost, and while Team Alpha is sent to rescue them, a bunch of things go terribly wrong almost immediately, and the survivors find themselves sheltering in a seemingly abandoned mansion. Also, just send Team Alpha first. Who sends Team Bravo first? Am I crazy? Send Team Alpha. That's why they're Team Alpha. Team Foxtrot, Tango and Zebra are dead. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Resident Evil the card game is a cooperative experience where the players control a character between them, and was inspired by the age-old tradition of passing a controller between friends, according to an interview with Dicebreaker and the designer Jamie Lopez. You'll be spending your time trying to escape from the mansion as the famous Resident Evil bosses come after you, and by synchronizing your action cards you'll be able to uncover the mysteries before you that were kept hidden by the Umbrella Corporation. And yes, also the house is full of T-virus infected monsters who ate Bravo Team. This looks like a really true-to-life board game version of the classic Resident Evil games, I think. It looks really cool, and it's going to come to retail early next year. Then there's the Heroes of Might and Magic board game, which is a whole other beast. This board game adaptation is coming to Kickstarter in November, and in the game players explore a world of hex tiles, going town to town, recruiting magical beings, collecting enchanted and sometimes cursed items, and equipping powerful artifacts as you delve into one of the 4 schools of magic, from fireballs to necromancy. The project is by Archon Studios. It's going to be up really soon, so look out for that on Kickstarter when it launches. 4 quickfire announcements next, starting with a brand new King of Tokyo and New York sequel. That's it. That's all we know. It's coming from Yellow. It's the 3rd standalone game in the series, and it was teased at Essen last week. So it's safe to say there's a crab monster. Are we fighting it? Are we the crab monster? Who's to say? Certainly not me until they release more information about it in the months to come. Ice Cool is also getting a sequel that was shown off at Essen, and this one's called Iron Forest. And it's described as a next level flicking game where wolf, hedgehog, rabbit and owl clans all have to go against the Iron Force that is taking back the technology stolen from the forest. And in the game, 2 to 4 players take on one of the 2 teams, the clans or the Iron Force, as you play through the scenarios that each offer asymmetrical objectives, which each side needs to fulfill in order to win, such as trying to control certain areas of the game board, destroying opposing teams' mechas, and collecting objectives and goals. It's also full of power-ups, and is played on a double-layered board. 2 layers. That's more layers than you get with me. What you see is what you get. Detective Rummy has been announced by WizKids, which is a new take on Mike Fitzgerald's classic mystery series of Rummy-inspired games, such as Mystery Rummy, Escape from Alcatraz, Jekyll and Hyde, and Al Capone. I love Rummy. I love it so very much. So I've always been interested in these games, and this new Detective Rummy plays as sly sleuths trying to solve a series of 7 criminal cases, which can be played in either campaign or case mode. Can you tell which sentence Chaz added to this script? This one is an insta-buy for me, so I was very excited to tell you about it being released next month. And then there's Purple Haze coming from Phalanx Games. Purple Haze is billed as an immersive story creation game for 1 to 6 players that drops you in the heart of the darkness that was Vietnam 1967. You lead a squad of US Marines through dense jungles, flooded rice paddies and the straw-thatched villages of a war-torn country, and it's the gut-wrenching choices that you make that will determine the fate of you and your mission. Purple Haze is being called a story creation game, a tactical combat game, and in part a campaign game. Your decisions determine the story, your tactics decide the outcome of life and death firefights, and the blurb tells us that your men will suffer. Some won't make it home, so you need to get both wiser and tougher. Yeah, I am so utterly intrigued by Purple Haze. It looks like it's going to be an immersive and emotionally difficult game to play, and it's coming to GameFound next year. Finally, we talked about the Zenobia Awards when they were first announced 11 months ago, which is a game design competition that hopes to encourage gaming design from marginalised groups. And while I was excited to see what wonderful games came from it, now we know that who from over the 150 applications, 46 proposals and 8 finalists are the winners and the runners-up. The first place went to Akar Bharadwaj and Tyranny of Blood, a game about the Indian caste system under British colonialism, where, during its rise and fall and the ensuing social displacement, you'll be shaping the nation state to your caste's advantage, with your own actions and paths to victory. It looks amazing, but so do the others. Second place went to Will Thompson for Winter Rabbit, a game about pre-Columbian economic system where you'll need to prepare your Cherokee village for winter as a trickster rabbit of Cherokee lore disrupts your work. And Alison Collins' third place, Win a Corsair, looks great, all about the exploration and re-examination of what we thought we knew about Machu Picchu. So many great games seem to have come out of this award, and I'm hoping it's not the last time that this competition runs. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.